Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Happy New Year's to each and every one of you. I hope you had a great New Year's Eve and have had a good start to your year. Today we're going to be diving into Vechain, a coin that many people are starting to lose interest in. We're going to go over a number of things in this video, like some of the things that Vechain are currently doing. We're going to be diving into the charts. We're also going to be looking at Google Trends because there's something very interesting that's taking place here. I'm going to be giving a general overview of Vechain and the direction that I kind of think it's moving it in. We know Vechain isn't listed on many large exchanges. This is something that I think is to come and ultimately is going to push the adoption of that in terms of a investment point of view. The adoption in terms of the protocol, Vechain as a blockchain being adopted, is something that certainly this year we've seen really ramp up. And I think into 2022, we're going to see this continue. And we're going to continue to see adoption of blockchain technology as a whole. And I think Vechain, given its already core partnerships, it's partnered with one of the largest electronic companies in China, electronic car companies in China, is going to do very well and going to see a real ramp up in adoption. So we've got a number of things to get through. We're also going to be looking at the Vechain Ethereum chart. You know, this is a chart that has great interest to me because I ultimately believe that Vechain is going to do similarly to what it's previously done. We're going to bottom out and then we're going to see a real spike for something like Vechain in comparison with Ethereum. And we know that Vechain typically moves somewhat in its own way. It tends to do a lot in a little bit of time. It tends to sell off more than other coins due to liquidity and so on and so forth. And liquidity is something that I really want to start talking about because of the reason why we see big institutional investors and VCs and other funds go for different coins, and that is due to liquidity. Vechain doesn't have as much liquidity as other coins, and that's going to be a detracting factor for a lot of institutional investment, which I think is all to come. But we are going to see Vechain get listed on exchanges, certainly major exchanges like Coinbase and so on. It's a matter of when, not if. So let's dive into it, guys. Let's take a look at where Vechain is today. It's all the way down, I think, number 33. So it's sold off and certainly lost ground to a lot of other cryptocurrencies. It was nearly at the top 10 once upon a time. And I think there's going to be a resurgence in Vechain. If we look at something like Google Trends, we can see that it's very, very low. In fact, it's at a lower point than when the price was over here. So what does that tell you? Well, that tells you that the floor for Vechain is getting higher and higher. And when we see the sort of interest, certainly from the retail side of things, as we know that the institutional side of things is somewhat dampened due to the liquidity sort of issues that Vechain may have. Not really issues, but it's not as liquid as other coins. And one thing that big money, smart money looks for is liquidity. If they need to get out of something, they want to be able to execute at a reasonable price rather than having to sort of eat into that liquidity and go lower and lower on in terms of price. So Vechain is very retail driven, and one thing that really strikes me with Vechain is if you look here on Google Trends, you can see the 11th to the 17th of April. That was pretty much the top for Vechain. So it's very heavily retail driven, and I think this resurgence, certainly if we look where we are today, we're at pretty much a low for the year-to-date chart on Google Trends. You know, we were certainly higher in terms of retail engagements, which Google Trends really shows us over here. So the floor for Vechain is getting higher. What happens, and just think about it, when we see that spike up in terms of people searching it and retail involvement? And one way that they're driving retail involvement is with Vechain as a project branching into DeFi through Vetho. We've seen many projects out there, such as Phantom, such as Avalanche, such as Terra, such as, of course, Solana, do very, very well in the previous year, due to the fact that they have essentially started ramping up DeFi. And we've seen lots of people get involved with that. And that's thus drove the underlying token that sort of the base layer token that runs these DeFi applications. Vechain is branching into that. This is an interesting treat. Proposal for Vechain Foundation to create an algorithmic stablecoin backed by Vetho, sort of like Luna. More VUSD demand, burn VFO, value accrue to VET. And any kind of use of Vetho is going to drive Vechain demand because, you know, Vechain is essentially how you get Vetho. You essentially stake your Vechain for Vetho. So we are seeing them really branch into, and you can certainly see this is a good one, Vechain stats, which shows you the kind of layout of the Vechain tokenomic landscape. We are seeing Vechain actually move into DeFi. This is another good tweet. We are going to play a video really talking about adoption and the fact that Vechain is building the world of tomorrow, as they put it. But you can really see, you know, that they're branching into, and they're trying to drive adoption and utilization of the underlying token. And this is ultimately going to lead to a price increase. And certainly with DeFi, you know, if you look at coins like Solana, Terra, Avalanche, things like Polygon, Matic, the reason they've done so well is because it's a lot cheaper to use Ethereum as a base layer blockchain via Matic than it is to use Ethereum. So, you know, DeFi is a huge driver of price at the moment, and Vechain are trying to capitalize on it. This is an interesting tweet. Reflecting on 2021, we are incredibly proud of how far our team and technology have come. Our achievements have set in motion revolutionary outcomes. In 2022, which is the year we're currently in, we will see rapid acceleration for adoption of blockchain, and we are ready to deliver. Happy 2022, VFam, Vechain. And I honestly believe that. We've spoken on a number of videos about the macro sort of landscape for crypto. Ultimately, we think, you know, at a $2.2 trillion market cap, there's a long way to go. We're yet to see a lot of adoption take place, and you're still early on that adoption curve. And something like Vechain is very well positioned with some of the amazing partnerships that they have to really, you know, capture quite a bit of that adoption. Certainly in regions like China, where they've been quite heavily regulatory against other cryptocurrencies. Something like Vechain has somewhat sought favor with the Chinese party, and we can see that with some of the partnerships that they have with them. You know, this is a blockchain that's seeing real world adoption. We will play this video in just a sec. So from a price point of view, you know, we still believe that you're following this Elliott wave theory, and ultimately you can see, you know, that this is largely retail driven. You can see one clear wave, a two wave, a three wave, a fourth wave, and now I think you're on your fifth wave, and your fifth wave is just taking a slightly different approach, more of a long drawn out approach. And the thing is, the important thing to remember is you've actually not put in a lower low since the sort of May sell off, which of course saw, you know, Bitcoin really drag the market down. Remember that Vechain is still largely tethered to Bitcoin. You can actually see that with this current price movement here. It's tethered to what's taking place on Bitcoin. You can see over here as well. And ultimately, you know, this will resurge. You know, Vechain is a lot more volatile due to its liquidity and it being on less exchanges and so on and so forth. But there will be a resurgence in this. So I'm still very hopeful and bullish on Vechain. I think they've got some amazing partners. I think the team is amazing, and I think they've done a lot. They are a blockchain. A lot of blockchains out there, a lot of cryptos out there are based on nothing but hype. Whereas something like Vechain is seeing real world adoption. And it's a shame that in this kind of FOMO world that we live in, you know, the blockchains, a lot of them have real staying power. They have real usability. They're solving real world use cases, yet they don't see the sort of price appreciation that they should. Whereas we have coins like Dogecoin, we have coins like Shiba Inu that do very well off the back of really nothing but hype and speculation. So it is a shame, but ultimately, you know, utilization and adoption is really what's going to drive the price in the long term. We can see that with, you know, we've often compared blockchain and what's going on with blockchain to the internet, the dawn of the internet, and how the real internet, the dot-com stocks that won were the ones that actually saw adoption over a long period of time. And some of those stocks are the biggest stocks, the biggest equities that we have today. So if we look at something like Apple at $3 trillion, it's nearly 1.5 times our entire market. So blockchain has got a hell of a long way to go, ladies and gentlemen. And you haven't put in that lower low. Very similar structure to what you did over here, which makes me think that this is the fourth wave, ready for that fifth wave. It's just going to be a case of hanging in there, guys. And certainly when we look at Google Trends, we're expecting another uptick given how low we are currently. When we look at something like Vechain versus Ethereum, you know, this is a recurring pattern that we see. And we're in one today with more of a long drawn out consolidation period, which could, if this trend line, this ascending resistance trend line, you know, takes us up before we see some kind of a period of downturn and then continuation. You know, Vechain is, even though people are losing interest, there's a lot going on the sort of base layer for Vechain. We'll quickly play this, guys, and then we will wrap the video up. I will love and leave you. They're also doing quite a bit of NFTs. NFTs, we're going to be getting into a lot of CNFTs and a lot of NFTs across platforms. I've been buying up a lot of them. The reason being is NFTs was more popular than crypto in 2021, according to Google Trends. So I've been doing very well off NFTs. We are going to start making a kind of show, if you will, on NFTs, where we get into the kind of art realm of crypto. Because even though maybe I might not be a personal fan of NFTs and the value that they do or don't hold, one thing that I certainly am is a fan of making money, and we're going to get into that. So let's play this video, guys, and then let's wrap it up. This is just a reminder to let you know that Vechain are doing some pretty amazing and spectacular things.
Blockchain is a technology that enables the trustlessness and builds a better world. What Vechain pursues is a collaboration with enterprises to create a sustainable future. Since the launching in 2015, Vechain has been the pioneer in enterprise-level blockchain applications. Alongside key strategic partners DNV and PwC, Vechain has serviced world-leading enterprises.
DNV, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, are the electric car manufacturer that's one of the largest in the world. Or certainly the largest in China. I can't remember if it's largest in the world or largest in China. Huge partnership that people largely overlook.
Clients.
Blockchain is just simply better than the current technology that we have for many things, such as record keeping and so on and so forth. It's often very much more energy efficient and so on. So that was really just a short and sweet video. I felt like it was important for me to get a Vechain video update out, as I know many of you hold Vechain. I certainly hold Vechain, and I'm still hanging on to all my VET. I have it staked for Vetho. Let me know in the comments if you'd like a video telling you guys how to do that. You can do that for a number of different wallets, or you can do that from actually creating a Vetho wallet and staking your VET directly. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. If you've enjoyed the video, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment, and hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell so you get notified whenever new videos are released. Enjoy your Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching.